Hi, this is Gary Goodwin, founder of the Armchair Dreamer, and welcome. This is a place to come for tips, tools, and techniques for how to work with visualization, imagination, and your dreams. I think I found an imagery pattern that can help us get into our imagination faster and definitely take us deeper. On many occasions, when I had the time, the opportunity, and the energy to linger, not rush into sleep, but watch myself fall asleep, there was a common pattern that would come up. Same sort of imagery again and again and again. The specific characteristics of the imagery might vary from time to time, but as I looked at it and saw how it was similar across sessions, I could see that there was a common pattern. And that pattern was a simple swirling. If I simply observed it, stayed with it, let it play, and just observe, soon it would start to dissipate or disappear. And beyond that, I was suddenly into much more complex imagery that I took as being deeper, that I was now deeper in my imagination. Sometimes the swirling pattern was very abstract, just sort of color or mist or light swirling about. At other times, it was something I had seen in nature, maybe fish swimming about, or water, or the air. It was a natural component that would not be unusual to see it swirling. Since you want to give this a try too, I've included some steps here. Step number one is a necessary one that we need to get in place before we can do any of this sort of work. But the other ones are a little bit of hints or tips for once you're seeing it, what to do once the swirling appears. The necessary first step is learning how to do what I call twilight work, which is not falling directly to sleep or not waking up in the morning and jumping out of bed, but hanging out in that in-between space between waking and sleeping, or if you prefer, how to go into this, create this sort of state by going to an armchair any time of the day, closing your eyes, relaxing, and going into this betwixt and between space. And the best place to learn is armchaildreamer.com. I have a growing library of material there that will teach you the necessary steps for doing either one. Step two will seem a little silly, which is set an intention to be looking for swirling. It's an obvious thing to do, but when we get into that betwixt and between space, sometimes we don't remember what our intentions are. We are caught up in the action and the feeling tone of what's happening. But we need to have a clear intention to be observing, to be waiting for swirling to come up. We need to be open to any form of imagery that comes up that has swirling in it, or something like swirling. It can be scenes of nature, it can be wispy smoke, it can be some of the graphics that I showed earlier, or it can be something, I often think of a wrinkled up blanket that implies a swirling sort of movement. If we look at a static image long enough in this betwixt and between space, it tends to come alive and tends to alter. When it does come up, what I try to do is simply observe it, sort of follow it. It may change from one image to another. I just stay there patiently. I don't get excited about seeing it again. I don't try to figure it out, well, why is it there or where it's going. I simply observe and let it alter, let it change. If all goes well, what's going to happen to the swirling is it's going to slowly dissipate or it's going to fade, and at that point either you can shift or you may have already shifted to observing, gently observing new imagery that feels deeper, that is in a way behind the swirling imagery that you had just seen. There's a second way of approaching swirling imagery. That is to find swirling motions that appeal to you, that deeply appeal to you. Then you do armchair dreaming, where you're going sit down, close your eyes, go in, relax, and then call up this betwixt and between space. And then you could introduce one of these favorite images, swirling water, clouds, or whatever, and see if you can go in deeper by doing that. I think we have to do it very gently. We can't just sit down and suddenly bring it up and off we go. It's going to be getting into the space a little bit, and when the time is right, when it feels right, bringing up the swirling and experimenting for yourself to find out, does this take me in? Is this the doorway to the unconscious? Well, it was great having you here today. Please go to armchaildreamer.com if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. This is Gary Goodwin, founder of the Armchair Dreamer.